Welcome to the fifth section of my video. The topic we want to consider in our Power BI training is DAX function. DAX functions. DAX functions they actually use to create calculations and expression in Power BI. The word DAX simply means data analysis expression. DAX, data analysis expression. So launching into our Power BI and see how we make use of the DAX formula language in creating functions. Power BI is opened already. To create the DAX, we can do that in our table view. Once you come to the table view, where we have our tables, this is where we can create our DAX function. But before then, I want us to create a scatter plot. I've opened another page. Here I want us to create a scatter plot of price against area. I want to know the correlation between my price and the area of land, the property covered. To calculate the correlation coefficient, I will make use of the DAX formula. So before then, I want to use the scatter plot to create a chart of the area against the average price. Then we can now find the correlation. So now I'm going to select my value. Where I'm having my values, I'll put the area. As you can see from the fact price, we have the area. So the area has been selected. Where I'm having my x-axis, I'm going to pick my area as well. I've dropped it. Then I'm picking average for my area. Then for the y-axis, I'm picking my price. So average. Area, the price. I want to switch this. So my x-axis, the price. Pick average. Then the y-axis, the area. Okay. So this is my plot. The area against the price. Then after this have been done, I'll come to my add further analysis. As you can see the icon, like a lens. So I'm going to select this to add further analysis, a trend line. I want to add a line that will link those dots. So this is my trend line. So my trend line is switch off. I'm going to switch it on. So the trend line, I've clicked on it, is now on. As you can see the line linking those dots, linking the plots. So this is showing the line that is linking them. Now we need to calculate the average, the correlation between the area and the price using the DAX. So I'm going back to my table view. Select my fact table. This is where I'm having my area and the price. So here I'm going to create the correlation formula using DAX for me to estimate or to calculate my correlation. So to calculate the correlation, I'll select measure. So as you can see, without clicking, just placing my cursor on it, it is written underneath that write a DAX expression that calculates a value from your data. But before then, I want us to see the formula of the correlation formula. I want us to know it first because you need to know the formula before you can write any DAX expression relating to that formula. You need to understand the formula first. You need to know what the formula means. You need to know the formula. So I want us to check the formula. So we are still coming back. I want us to check the formula first. Then we can come back and input our DAX expression, our DAX function. So as you can see, this is my correlation coefficient. R equals to the summation of x I minus x prime, as you can see. So this is the correlation formula. So this formula is what we are going to insert using DAX to calculate the correlation between our area and the price. As you can see from our graph, area against the price, the average price. So the same thing we are going to do using the correlation formula. So this time around, it's not going to be X and Y. It's going to be area and the price, the average price. Then after the correlation coefficient has been calculated, then we need to know the correlation coefficient category, the category it belongs to based on our value. As you can see, the value here, -1, means perfect negative correlation. -1 to -0.8 simply means a very strong negative correlation. So as you go down, you can see the scale of our coefficients and what those values, those scale actually represent, what they signify. So 0 to 0.2 simply means a very weak positive correlation. 0.2 to 0.4 simply means weak positive correlation, and so on and so forth. While 1, which is the final one, simply means the perfect positive correlation. So the scale is from -1 to 1, and they all have their various meaning. So we are going to input this using DAX in our Power BI to calculate the correlation between our price and the area, and to know the category of our coefficient, the correlation coefficient. So let's go back to our Power BI and input the formula using DAX. So we are now back in our Power BI interface, the Power BI desktop. Now, for us to create the DAX expression, the DAX function for our correlation coefficients, I'm going to select, don't forget we are in the table view, and then I selected the fat table, which is the fat price. This is where I want to create my DAX function. So from here, I'm going to select my new measure. New measure has been selected. New measure at the table 2, you select the new measure. So as you can see, this is my new measure. I want to enter my correlation coefficient formula. So the correlation coefficient. So the correlation coefficient, because the first one, don't forget in our formula, we have the mean for the x-axis and for the y-axis. So we are going to find the mean for our x axis, which is the price. So VAR, you are breaking the formula, you are breaking it down into a simpler format. So this is what we call the DAX expression. VARX equals calculate average of price. We have it in the okay, average of price, which is this. So I'm going to select this and close my brackets. Then to move to the next line, I'll press Shift Enter. So as you can see, I've moved to the next line. So the mean for my Y axis as well will be equals calculate average. Then I'm going to select my area as well. Don't forget, it's also in the fact table. So this is my area. I'm going to select this, then close my bracket, then Shift Enter. The numerator I'm sorry, I didn't close this bracket, and that's the reason why, as you can see, it is indicating a red. This bracket is red. It simply means the bracket is not closed. So as you can see, the red has changed after adding the closed bracket. So the same thing is applicable to this as well. So there are no more red, it has changed. So the VAR numerator will be equals to sum x the fat price open bracket my price minus x close bracket star. Then I'll repeat for area as well. My area a minus y close bracket. Then you can see the red bracket simply means I need to close it. So I'm done with this. Then I'm going to move to the denominator. So as you can see, I'm through with the denominator. Then I'm going to return it. You type return for the 6th line. Then for the 7th line, I'll divide the numerator by the denominator. As you can see in the bracket, this is the numerator for my denominator. Divide is outside. So I'm dividing this against this. This is our correlation coefficient. After I finish typing, then I'm going to commit the expression by clicking it, then I'm through. So once you can see it's loading, so it has been added to my facts area where I'm having my facts table. It has been added. So this is what we call a DAX function for my correlation coefficients. we are not through. We still need to create a DAX function for our correlation coefficient category for us to be able to indicate which category the correlation coefficient we are going to get, the value, for us to be able to indicate the category it belongs to. So we need to create a DAX again for that. So I'm going to select new measure, a new measure. So a new measure has been created. Now, for the category, as I showed us earlier, so our correlation coefficient category, we need to know the category. So the DAX expression can actually help us to determine which category our correlation coefficient belongs to using Power BI, using the DAX expression. So let's input the DAX expression. So this is our correlation coefficient category. This is the DAX expression for it. So as you can see, switch into bracket true, comma. So the third line, the correlation coefficient is equals to -1. As you know, the scale is from -1 to 1. If you look at the last line, which is line 15, the correlation coefficient is equals to 1. So for the first one, the correlation coefficient equals to -1. The category, the class it belongs to, simply means a perfect negative correlation. And when you move to the next one, the correlation coefficient is greater than -1, and the correlation coefficient is less than -0.8. It simply means between that range, we have very strong negative correlation, and so on and so forth. So this, you see this text in the red line that are written in red color, they are the class. This is referring to the class. So all these are the category. Are the category. They are the category of our correlation, the correlation coefficient. So these are the values. These are the values, the category of each correlation scale. Why this is indicating the category it belongs to. These are the scale, the number, the range. These are the range. So we are through. Once you type this, you follow it gradually without making any mistake. Where you're supposed to put comma, you put comma. Then you can omit the expression. If there is anything missing, if a single comma is missing, if you try to comment, it's going to give you error. So you need to do it carefully. You need to enter your expression carefully. So as you can see, the correlation coefficient category has been commit. So which simply means we are good to go. The value, the expression is correct. So I'm going back to my report view. This is my report view. So I want to view what the correlation coefficient is. We want to know what the correlation coefficient is. To do that, we'll go to our visual. Let's go back to our visual. We are going to select a card. As you can see, the card visual. I'm going to select outside first, so as not to change the chart I'm having here. Once the chart is selected and you pick another visual, it's going to change it. So you need to be very careful. You have to select outside first. You click outside, then you can now select your visual. So this is the card visual. I've already done that. Now I'm to select my correlation, the correlation coefficient. So I'm going to select my correlation coefficient and drop it inside the feed box. So as you can see, the correlation coefficient is 0.02, 0.02, which to test our knowledge, our intelligence, if we can actually remember, can anyone tell me which category this correlation coefficient belongs to? Some of us may actually make a mistake, we might not remember, but don't forget we've already written, we've done the DAX expression for that. So we don't need to disturb ourselves. All you need to do is just to select another card again. Another card will be selected. This is the card. Then we'll pick our correlation coefficient category, the correlation coefficient category. So I'm going to select this and drop it inside the field. So as we can see what our card is displaying, this is a very weak positive correlation. So it simply means our correlation coefficient is very weak. It's a very weak positive correlation. This is the category it belongs to. Thanks. So this is how we can make use of our DAX expression in calculating anything relating to our business intelligence solution in Power BI. As many calculations as possible, you can use your DAX expression in doing that. Thanks.